This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Whitmer here, and welcome into another episode of the Onside Kick right here on MVP Sports. I am joined, as I always am, with my great co-host, my beautiful co-host, JD. JD, how we doing today, brother?
We're doing great, buddy.
People might notice something, JD. They might be like, wait a second, wait a hot minute. We saw you guys on Monday, and that was for the NFC North. And you guys were wearing the same clothes that you are now in the AFC South prediction. What's going on? Do you guys not wash your clothes? We do wash them. Well, I know I do.
No.
I can't speak for you, JD. I don't know how you're living up there in Canada. Yeah, I don't know how you're living up there in Seaton.
Yeah,
not even Seaton. It'd be more like Sea Country. You're in Teton, Toronto. Yeah. I mean, I know that Toronto believes in some weird stuff. I didn't know if showers were outlawed there yet.
Yeah, they're gonna be some. I'm just getting a head start, you know.
JD's getting a head start, but we are recording this same day. We're recording two of these back to back to make sure we can get these out because JD, I'm just gonna say it. You're going on vacation for about a week and a half. I'm going on vacation for about a week and a half. So we kind of have to double up on some of these days. You might see about 2 or 3 of these podcasts where we're wearing the same exact thing, but we're getting into the AFC North today. Or not AFC North, we did that. AFC South today, if I'm keeping everything right. We just did the NFC North. Now we're doing the AFC South. Before we get into everything, though, let's do some quick housekeeping. If you want to join the greatest community in the universe, the MVP Discord, that you can do down below in the description. You can also find our Patreon page where you can support us. All of our social medias are down there. You can hit that subscribe button, that like button, and the comment section where you can tell us what you think of what we're talking about today. But JD, let's get into it. We're talking AFC South. The order we're talking about is from bottom up, so we're going to start with the Tennessee Titans. What did the Tennessee Titans lose coming into this year? So in free agency, the Titans lost. Let me scroll up to it. They've got Calvin Throckmorton is with the Broncos. Terrell Edmonds is with Jacksonville. Andre Dillard is with the Packers. Travis Gibson is with the Jaguars. Chris Hubbard is with the Niners. They lose Kevon Wallace to the Seahawks. Chris Moore to the Cardinals. Nick Westbrook, he stays. Kristen Fulton to the Chargers. Derrick Henry to the Ravens. Danico Autry to the Texans. You've got Aaron Brewer to the Dolphins. Sean Bunting to the Cardinals. And Azeez Al-Shaair to the Texans. What are they bringing in to replace some of these names? Well, they're going to bring in Nick Vanette from the Chargers, Garon Christian from the Browns, Jamal Adams from the Seahawks, Shadid Charles from the Commanders. They're going to bring in Tyler Boyd from the Bengals, Mason Rudolph from the Steelers, Sebastian Joseph from the Niners, Kenneth Murray from the Chargers, Tony Pollard from the Cowboys, Chidobe Awuzie from the Bengals, Lloyd Chusenberry from the Broncos, and Calvin Ridley from the Jaguars. JD, I got one question for you about this team.
Yeah.
This team will most likely be a 4th place team yet again, just based on the division that they are in right now. However, this is a team bringing in J.C. Latham in the draft. They bring in Trevondre Sweat in the draft, 2 guys that have been starting right away. But my question is about the quarterback. Will Levis. Will we see an improvement in Will Levis? Will he prove himself to be the guy moving forward, or this season at all, will we see him replaced by either Mason Rudolph or Malik Willis?
I think those are 2 separate questions because I think you will see an improvement on Will Levis. I don't see either Mason Rudolph or Malik Willis replacing him.
Mm-hmm.
But I also
So he's going to play out the year in your mind.
Yes, but
Okay.
I don't think that's necessarily anything positive for him because I don't think he is the future of the Titans. I think he's just he's the middleman quarterback until they get a top pick and take a quarterback with that pick. So it could be next year. And I know Titan fans are probably exhausted with this because 2 years ago you drafted Malik Willis in the third round, or maybe I think it was third round or fourth round. Then last year you drafted Malik Willis in was it the second round or third round?
Second round.
Yeah, second round. And so now it's like, oh, but JD, we took 2 quarterbacks in the last 3 drafts. The thing is, quarterbacks are, if you have a chance to take a top quarterback and you wasted let's call it what it is, you wasted a second round pick on one, you jump on that. You don't wait around and say, oh, maybe our second rounder will be something. Unless Will Levis completely has a completely different season than I imagine him having, where he throws for 28 touchdowns and 7 interceptions with 4,000 passing yards, or something like that, then I think he's replaceable.
So I typed in Will Levis to pull up his stats.
Yeah.
And the day that we're recording this is the 30th. There is some Will Levis news in the sphere this week. Do you want to know what the big news on Will Levis is?
He still puts mustard in his coffee.
Nope, it's actually mayo. Get it right.
Yeah.
Get it right, you mayo monkey. It's mayo.
Okay.
But no, he is dating Victoria Fuller, a former participant in The Bachelor, and actually won The Bachelor in Paradise before splitting up with Bachelor Johnny DeFilippo after being accused of cheating with Greg Grippo. So,
good.
Yeah, good for Will Levis after I just read that. Like, I didn't read far enough to read that part until just now.
Yeah.
And now I feel like Will Levis really found himself a winner there.
Yeah.
But, congrats to Will Levis on the super... I can't say supermodel girlfriend. He's not in the Tom Brady department where Tom Brady was literally dating a supermodel. But congrats on the new relationship. I wish the news was football related. But here's the thing. Will Levis, I'm a Will Levis guy. I will always be a Will Levis guy. I'm a Will Levis stan. That's because I know what kind of quarterback Will Levis can be. He showed it in some games that he played last year of this is the guy I can be. He will play all year. He will be successful. And he's going to show this team, I am the future. Put the faith in me. This is a guy who just in 9 games last year threw for just over 1,800 yards, 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. This is a guy, given a full year, can be successful with this team. Now, here's the question, and this is going to play into his success. No more Derrick Henry. Replace Derrick Henry with Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard is good, but he's no Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Wide receivers. Calvin Ridley is good. How great can he be? There's a reason why Jacksonville let him go. However, the wide receivers, bringing in Tyler Boyd is going to be a positive. I think bringing in Calvin Ridley will end up being a positive. DeAndre Hopkins, is he washed? Is he for real? We're going to see. This offense is going to have to help him out. It's going to have to help him out. They don't have Derrick Henry to lean on anymore. So that means a lot of like the running the ball, the setup to pass, it's going to be a little bit harder because Tony Pollard's a good guy. But like I said, and this is no disrespect to Pollard, he is no Derrick Henry.
Yeah, and you're right about that. And I know, again, I'm assuming the people who are watching this might have seen our Ravens talk. And even though I don't think Henry is the same player he used to be, it's still a big loss. It's still a big loss for the Titans.
It's a 300 carry guy in this offense.
Yeah, but at the same time, we also got to remember that Brian Callahan is the new coach of this team.
Yep.
And he was the former Bengals offensive coordinator, if you did not know. And just going off of that, I know different teams have different personnel, but I have a feeling that it will be okay that they lost Henry, because Brian Callahan loves to scheme up passing plays, and so I think losing a 300 carry running back is okay, and I think that bringing in a new mind, again, I know I'm going to get heat for this because I've gotten heat for this before. Mike Vrabel, in my opinion, was overrated as a coach. He did nothing in the playoffs. So I think this is a welcome change, and this allows the offense to actually be exciting. I mean, sure, they don't have they don't have the biggest names on offense, but I think that they could be a fun young team on the offensive side of the ball. The offensive line is coming together. Last year they drafted Peter Skoronski. This year, J.C. Latham. Your left side of your offensive line is set. Sure, the right side could use some work. Dylan Redunz, I remember I liked him coming out of the draft a couple of years ago, but this year, this year he's projected to be the starter, and we'll see what he can do. Lloyd Cushenberry, he's been a veteran around the league for a while at center, so their offensive line shouldn't be that bad, and that will help their offense and hopefully help Will Levis do well.
Now, JD, I'm going to say a joke here, and I have to say it's a joke because of the climate that we live in these days, JD. That's like, it's a joke when I say this. It's also good about Brian Callahan coming in and being the head coach of the Titans.
What?
And this pertains to Will Levis. So starting in 2016, the first time he got a job as a quarterbacks coach or up, 2016, 2017, quarterbacks coach. Who was their quarterback? Matthew Stafford. 2018, QB coach of the Raiders. Who was their quarterback? Derek Carr. Bengals offensive coordinator, 2019, 2023. Who were their quarterbacks, JD? There were two starters that he worked with.
In 2019?
2019 to 2023, there were two quarterbacks.
Oh, Andy Dalton.
With. Andy Dalton.
And Finley?
No. Who was the starter after Dalton? You just said his name.
Oh,
he's starting now. Burrow. The main starters is what I'm talking about. You're right. You're right. Finley started a game, but Andy Dalton and Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
What do all those quarterbacks have in common with Will Levis?
They're rookies?
They're white quarterbacks. Oh. He knows how to work with white quarterbacks. That's what Will Levis is. This is good for Will Levis. He knows how to bring the best out of him. Now, the problem is, what do a lot of those quarterbacks not have in common with Will Levis? They were top draft picks, if not number one picks in some cases. You have two number one. No, Burrow was number one, was he not?
Yeah, he was first overall.
Burrow number one, Stafford number one. Derek Carr and the Red Rocket.
Carr was a second round pick. Yeah. The rest were second round picks.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Levis.
No, Andy Dalton was not a second round pick.
Yes, he was.
Really?
Yeah, because AJ Green was first round that year.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Derek Carr was a second round. I know his brother was first overall. Like, I didn't think he was first overall. I thought Derek Carr was like a low first rounder. Same with Andy Dalton.
Yeah, no.
They were both 35th. Oh, please tell me Will Levis was the 35th overall pick. I'm gonna ride this to the bank if he was the 35th overall pick. Oh, he was 33. Oh, we were so close.
Can you imagine?
Oh, if they were all 35 overall pick or 35th picks in the second round. Oh, that's we were crazy. So close. You know what? I'm going to take that as a positive anyways. He can work with quarterbacks that are drafted in that round. Like, here's the thing. I joke. We laugh. We have a good time here. But Brian Callahan should be able to pull out the good in Will Levis, no?
Yeah. Again, he's worked with a good offense. Even though, like I said the last Bengals video that they've struggled to start the year, ultimately they've been good offenses. He's seen what an elite quarterback looks like when he's working in practice. So he should be able to see or kind of teach Will Levis how to carry himself. Oh, this is what Joe Burrow did in practice. This is what you should do. So yeah, I would take it as a positive.
Hi, everybody. Just want to take a quick moment out of today's podcast to tell you about our sponsor for today, BETUS, a sports book that has it all, whether it's basketball, hockey, football, soccer, whatever you like to bet on, BETUS has you covered. And they are offering our viewers and listeners today a 125% sign-up bonus just for using our link down below in the description. So go ahead, use that link down below and get your 125% sign-up bonus, BETUS. And now, let's get back to the podcast. Here's the only negative. You ready for this?
Yeah.
6th hardest schedule in all football this year. They're right behind the Vikings and Texans just got boned this year.
Yeah, and both
4th place teams, both of them in the top 10 for hardest schedules this year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because I'm looking at the South, they're gonna play the AFC South, of course, who. Yeah. He already plays in a tough division because all 3 teams are good. You play the NFC North, who's going to have 3, if not 4, decent to good teams in that division. Looking through, they play the AFC East. And then the games that are not either AFC East, NFC North, or AFC South, they have the Chargers, the Commanders, and the Bengals.
Yeah. A couple 4th place teams that shouldn't have probably been in.
What, the Chargers and the Bengals?
Yeah, I mean, the Chargers were stinky, but realistically, they shouldn't have been that bad.
Mm-hmm. So, sucks to suck, basically, when you look at it. But, they're going to have a tough schedule, and that's pretty much the biggest negative for this team is that your schedule is going to be hard. And this is going to be a team that is new coach, new system.
Yeah.
You don't have your bell cow who's been your best player. You now have to switch things up, new personnel getting used to each other. So it's the Titans going to struggle because of that and be the 4th place team yet again. I mean, we'll have to find out what our predictions say, JD. But moving on. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars, who should have a good season this year. Let's see what they lost. So Trey Herndon, he's now with the Giants. Joey Sly is with the Patriots. Angelo Blackson is with the Broncos. Zay Jones is a Cardinal. Dwayne Smoot is a Bill. Clavon Cassian is with the Panthers. Brandon McManus is a Commander. Foley Fatukazi is with the Texans. Rayshawn Jenkins is a Seahawk. Darius Williams is a Ram. Calvin Ridley, like I said, is a Titan. And that's all they've lost. What did they bring in, though? Let me switch this over. Go ahead.
You said the Jags, but wasn't it the Colts?
Was it the Jags? It was the Colts. You're right.
Okay, well, I mean, whatever.
We'll do the Jaguars because I messed it up. It should be the Colts, but we'll do it out of order here because I've already started listing off their stuff. Austin Trammell, he comes over from the Rams. Trey Flowers from the Falcons. Terrell Edmonds from the Titans. Ty Summers from the Saints. We got Travius Gibson from the Titans. Joey Sly from the Commanders. Josiah Dugara from the Packers. Ronald Darby from the Ravens. Devin Duvernay from the Ravens. Mitch Morse from the Bills. Darnell Savage from the Packers. Gabe Davis from the Bills, and Eric Armstead coming over from the 49ers. JD, we're doing this a little out of order. Blame me because I forgot that AR got injured. Well, same record as the Colts. I forgot that they had the tiebreaker over the Colts. This is a team that was 9-8 last year. This is also a team that has their quarterback. They have their weapons. So, they have Trevor Lawrence. They have Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne in the backfield. They're a wide receivers of new, meaning they still have Christian Kirk, who's probably going to be their slot guy this year, but they do have 2 new wide receivers. Calvin Ridley gone. We're replacing him with Gabe Davis. And they also drafted Brian Thomas Jr. out of LSU to come in and be a starter as well. Is this a team, the Jaguars? They're a good team. They have their quarterback. will they be able to compete with the Texans this year?
They should, man. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is now going into what, year 4?
I believe you may be right. Let me stat check you here.
Yeah, I believe he's going into year 4. And yes, he's been good. He's been improving, but he's been nowhere near where we've expected him to be.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you can make the argument, oh, well, the team around him hasn't been good,
Mm-hmm.
which I would say, yeah, you're probably right. But what do we always say? The team is as good as their quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
If the great quarterbacks around the league can get the most out of their players.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Trevor Lawrence just hasn't gotten to that level. He's been good. He's had games where he's been great. And then there's been games where he's thrown like 5 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this has to be the year. I would argue their offense is good. Their offensive line, not so much. Their offensive line is okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like you said, Brian Thomas should be their number 1 wide receiver by the end of the year. He's that good. They got wide receiver depth. I love the Devin Duvernay pickup because yes, he's mainly a special teamer, but he can take the top off of defense.
Yeah.
And Gabe Davis is fine, and Christian Kirk is fine. But you have to, like, this offense has to carry the defense because I'm not super high on them. I mean, I think they can be all right, but Ronald Darby is probably their best corner. I would say, yeah, he's probably, or maybe Trayvon Walker, or not Trayvon Walker, sorry. But yeah, Darby's probably their best cornerback. And then Tyson Campbell is fine as the second corner.
Yeah.
But yeah, the defense doesn't look to be that great. But again, with this offense on paper, they should be able to keep up with the Texans. Maybe not beat the Texans and win the division, but they should at least be a 10-win team. I would have to say, probably.
So here's my only problem with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, first thing I'm going to say is I'm going to combat your Trevor Lawrence thing a little bit. I agree he needs to get better in the turnover department, where last year he had pretty much like not a 1-to-1, but like almost, I believe, a 2-to-1. He had 21 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. So like a little closer to 2-to-1, but not far from 1-to-1.
Yeah.
He needs to be what he was his second year in the league. 25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Like that kind of a ratio. When he was the AP MVP, when he was the AP comeback player of the year that year. The thing with the Jaguars that I do think, and it's not necessarily the talent on the team, it's I feel like ever since Trevor Lawrence has been in the league, he wasn't set up for success. And the reason I say that is his rookie year, remember the catastrophic just drama around that team because of Urban Meyer? That was the worst situation to probably walk into. Now, the other thing is they bring in Doug Peterson, knows how to win, won a Super Bowl with the Eagles, comes over from Philadelphia. In 2 years, yes, they won the South in year 1. They finished second in the South in year 2. They're doing their job and winning divisional games. They were 4-2 in the South, both of Doug Peterson's years. Here's the only problem. 9-8. To win the division, like, here's the thing. We do have to understand about the South. I think one of the toughest, like, people mention, like, what division did we talk about? That it was the North, maybe? The AFC North? Yeah. Is that the one we said, like, where you were like, that's the toughest division in football?
Yeah.
I think that the AFC North has better Super Bowl caliber teams in it. The Bengals and the Ravens. But when it comes to a division that just beats the crap out of each other, that's the South. The South is the division in the AFC where it's like, well, this team's 9-8, but they won the division.
Yeah.
However, I think the Texans proved last year that stereotype, kind of like Vince Carter in the dunk contest. It's over. It's over. You got to win 12 games. You got to win 13 games to win this division. Looking back last year, how many games did the Texans win? The Texans won 10 games. So they're setting the standard of like, okay, to win this division, you need double-digit wins to win this division. No more 9-8s get you through. Now, the thing is with Jacksonville, they got to contest with the Texans again. The Colts, too, we're going to get to them. The biggest question with them is AR. Can they stay healthy? So, like, yes, Trevor Lawrence needs to be better. He needs to be like he was with his first year with Doug Peterson. But I think the thing that's going to take a little bit of hiccups to do that is, like I said, you look at this team, all of the weapons except for Christian Kirk are gone. Rookie wide receiver and Brian Thomas. Bringing in Gabe Davis, who, if Gabe Davis wants to sit behind and say, hey, I'll be the secondary wide receiver to you, Christian. I don't know how that works with a slot receiver, but like, he's got to get used to these guys. He's got to get used to them. Evan Ingram is still there, so he'll have that chemistry with Evan, but it's just the chemistry might need a little bit early on in the year, and then it's like, can Jacksonville afford that, basically?
Yeah, and that's why I don't necessarily love what I said about Trevor Lawrence, because the thing is, you're right. He's kind of set up. Even this year, you can argue set up to fail. I know offensively, I said that they are fine, but they could have done more. You know, they could have done more. And like you said, now they got to have in the wide receiver room the question of, okay, well, who's the number one? It probably, like I said, won't be Brian Thomas to start, but out of Gabe Davis and Christian Kirk, I would probably say Gabe Davis would be your number one. But how good is that, you know? But again, that's why I said it's extremely important for Trevor Lawrence to have probably the best season of his career, because he's going to have to get the most out of these guys. And I think he and them are capable to do that.
Well, I'm also going to bring this up when it comes to the Jaguars, because both of Doug Peters' years with Jacksonville, this trend has happened. Is it going to happen again, where his first year in 2022, Trevor's second year in the league, it was a team that they went 2-1 to start the year, but then from week 4 to week 10, they went 1-6.
Yeah.
Basically shoot yourself in the foot, to where if it wasn't for them going basically, what was it? Going 6-1 the rest of the year, they wouldn't have finished 9-8, wouldn't have won the division. Like, after the bye week, they needed to go supernova and basically win every game. Where last year, it was same story, flip the trends. Early on in the year, they were amazing. Before the bye week, their week 9 bye week, they were 6-2, sitting pretty. The rest of the year after the bye, they go, what, 3-6?
Yeah,
3-6 in there, and they end the season on a 1-5 record. So it's like, is that like this team for the last 2 years with Doug Peterson? One half of the year has been great, the other half of the year has been just dog water.
Yeah,
this team needs to be more consistent throughout the whole year. And I'm telling you, the way that I'm looking at it, because of the new additions and the time that's going to be needed, this team may be hey, they struggle early, but then the rest, this might be like 2022. First half of the year stinks, second half of the year rocks.
Yeah, And that's the tough part because, again, like, how bad do they do to start the year?
Mm-hmm.
You know? Because, again, I think they have to make the playoffs this year,
Yes.
which in the AFC,
It's
that
hard.
is tough. Yeah. Because you pretty much, like, you have to be, well, obviously, you need to win your division. That's the most important thing to ensure yourself in that picture. But for those remaining wild card spots, it's an absolute dogfight. You're probably gonna have to win 11 games, maybe 10, maybe 10 to squeak into the playoffs there.
Yeah.
And so again, yeah, I think I lean on your side of them maybe starting off a little bit slower this year. But I think to make the playoffs, they got to be consistent from start to finish, like you said. They can't afford any slip ups anymore.
This team has the 14th easiest schedule in the league, so they're right there in the middle. They're like just on the positive side of middle in this league. And I look at their schedule, besides the divisions we know they're going to play, the 3 games that are kind of their own games to control their destiny: home against the Browns, at Philadelphia, and then the last one is going to be, what would it be? Let me see. Oh, I found it. Let me find it again. Cleveland, Philadelphia, East, North. No, that's Vegas. They're at Vegas late in the year.
Yeah.
So Vegas, Cleveland, and Philly are their 3 games that are just theirs.
And you can argue that they will be the underdogs in 2 of the 3 games. So against
Everyone but the Browns.
No, I would say that they'll be favorited over the Raiders.
Oh, okay.
And be underdogs against
the Browns,
the Eagles and Browns.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean also the back-to-back weeks. They play the Bears week 6 and then the Patriots in week 7. Both of those games are in London. So basically, back-to-back weeks they're in London.
And that kind of sucks.
I mean, here's the thing. So I'll ask you, last question about the Jaguars. If you're the team and you know you're playing week 6, week 7 in London, you just stay out there for those 2 weeks, right? You don't fly back for week 7 to fly back out. You just stay out there and hold your weekly meetings and practices out there.
Yeah, because assuming the second...
So really going into that Patriot game, they should have the advantage because they don't have to deal with the jet lag because they'll be used to London time.
Well, that's what I was just going to say is unless the team that they play in the second game has a bye, then yeah, they should have the clear advantage because that team's not going to fly down probably until like Tuesday or something.
Yeah, so the Patriots are playing week 6 at home against Houston, then have to go to London to play Jacksonville, who's already out there.
Yeah, so they should have the advantage for that game.
Is that just because you don't want to give a team you can't give a team a week 6 bye?
Can.
Does teams have week 6 byes?
I think you can get a bye starting in week 4.
Yeah,
maybe week 5 now.
The earliest bye week this year, week 5. You're right. Yeah. The teams at week 6 byes: Chiefs, Rams, Dolphins, Vikings.
Yeah.
Couldn't give the Patriots that, huh? Couldn't help them out. Couldn't help them out with a week 6 bye. That is just Roger Goodell being bad at his job. Because really, it's his job because he's
also back to back. Like, I get it. The Jags are probably like the biggest.
They're London's team
market. Yeah, but I mean, they kind of get shafted by staying there for 2 weeks.
However, I will say the Bears game is a Bears home game, so the Bears lose a home game, and then the Patriot game is a Jaguar home game. So they lose 1 road, 1 home.
Yeah.
So they're not losing 2 home games.
Yeah, I'd be the most angry about that.
If I was a fan, I'd be like, great, in 1 less game, I get to maybe go see my team.
Not even that. I look at it just from a pure competitive standpoint. That's
home
why
field advantage.
Yeah, exactly. Like, not to get into a whole. This could be a tangent for another day, but that's just my issue with the overseas games. Is the home team gets shafted by losing home field advantage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. But moving on to the team we should have done before Jacksonville, the Indianapolis Colts. What did they lose? Tony Brown, he's with the Browns. Jack Martin, he's with the Bears. Isaiah McKenzie, he's in New York with the Giants. Zach Moss, he's in Cincy. Gardner Minshew, he's in Vegas. That's all they lost. Didn't lose a lot. What did they bring in free agency? Joe Flacco to replace Gardner Minshew. They also bring in Raekwon Davis. That's it. That's only free agency. Colts didn't have a lot to do in free agency. They didn't lose a lot. They didn't bring in a lot. When it comes to other things they're bringing in, Adonai Mitchell is going to come in, be a starting wide receiver for them. They also have several draft picks who are second in the depth chart. Anthony Gold, Matt Gonclaves, Tanner Boltellini. You've got Latu. You've got Jalen Charles. You got Jalen Simpson. You got Micah Abrams. All of these listed as the number 2 on the depth chart for their individual position. Here's the question, though, JD, I'm going to ask you when it comes to the Colts, because this, to me, much like every team we've talked about in this division, they're only going to go as far as this man takes them. Does Anthony Richardson play more than 4 games this year? Will he learn not to run and take unnecessary hits?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so, dude, because he looked pretty good. Like, he looked better than I thought he was gonna look coming out of the draft. Again, if you only are new to this content, I'm a Florida Gators fan. So I was watching a lot of
Come on, JD. Come on. There you go. You gotta do it.
But yeah, he was pretty raw coming out of Florida, and but like, again, the upside was there. But then to start his NFL career, I mean, yeah, he looked better throwing the ball than he did in college, and of course he was an electric runner. But the big problem was him trying to make the extra play every single down, and trying to get the extra yardage. So he obviously got hurt. So hopefully, yeah, he learned, because he's key for this team, like every other team starting quarterback, but specifically him, because he could be the most electrifying quarterback in the draft, or sorry, not in the draft, in the NFL, because of his size. He has everything. He has the possibility to do everything. His size, his speed, his throwing strength, his accuracy, if it comes together. So yeah, it's key for him to stay healthy, and even if the Colts don't have a great season, if he can play a healthy season and not look bad, then that's a positive.
And JD, the one thing that I look at that this actually happened, we're recording this, like I said, on July 30th. We're talking about AR's injury here, right? And like how he needs to have a healthy season. One thing that the Colts are dealing with right now is the sack leader from last year, Samson Ebukam. I hope I said that right. Ebukam. He's out for the year. Torn Achilles. Happened on Sunday in practice, tore his Achilles. So one of the big things, and what I'm reading here, is everything is looking like the guy who's going to have to step up for them is the guy who's behind Kwity Paye right now, and that's Latu. The rookie might be getting the early shot here to start, because the sack leader that would have been taking a spot from him, he's out for the year with a torn Achilles. So like, this team already dealing with injuries. It's like, this is going to be a big hit, obviously, to the defense. Can Latu step up? Can Paye and Latu get it done to get after it? But like, that's why it adds more to where like Richardson can't go down.
Yeah.
This is a team that Richardson cannot go down. And the one thing I even look at with this team is, like, you look at the depth chart, you look at what they did to bring in. I think the Joe Flacco signing is indicative. It's not just like, hey, we lost Gardner Minshew, we need to replace it. There's a chance AR could go down again. If he does, we need a backup who could step in and still win us games, which I think Joe Flacco proved with the Browns. He can still step in and win some games.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so it was Flacco was a good insurance policy for them. Again, how good will he be?
Hopefully he doesn't have to play. He's like an insurance policy. Hopefully you don't need him, but he's there if you do.
Exactly. And so, I mean, they should. I'll say this: they should be competitive. They've kind of assured themselves of that with the depth moves that they've made and the draft picks that they've made recently.
Yeah.
They should be competitive. And I mean, for where this team has been in the last few years, I mean, I feel like that's a reasonable expectation.
So looking at their 3 games that are just theirs, strength of schedule for the Colts, they have the 7th easiest schedule. And I think part of the reason why is out of the 3 games that are just there, the AFC North team they will play is the Steelers. Early on Steelers, like week 4 Steelers, where it's like they're still trying to maybe figure out that quarterback position. Week 15, they're at Denver to play the Browns. I know playing in Denver's hard, but the Browns aren't looked at as that high of a team. And then week 17 at New York to play the Giants, the NFC East. So it's like this is a team that the way I see it is there's 3 teams fighting for this division. The Titans are on the outside. They're going to have to prove it. I think Will Levis does better, but I don't think the Titans compete. There's 3 teams vying for this divisional win. Texans, Jaguars, Colts. The only thing is who's going to get the upper hand this year. And I have a feeling, JD, that here's the thing. Everyone's talking, like we're going to get to them to end the podcast. Everyone's blowing so much smoke up CJ Stroud's ass and the Houston Texans. What's up, brother? Like, they're a good team. They're a good team. They should be praised. Yeah. You know, he's sketch Texan fan. You see where I was going there? Yeah, you like that one? They should be the front runner coming into the season. However, here's a little snippet that I have. This team, even without AR, they were 2-2 with AR. They still had a 9-win season without AR. With AR, I think the Colts could be better than the Texans this year. I know the what if is the what if, but if AR played the whole year, are the Colts better than the Texans? And we're not talking about the Texans like we are because the Colts are better than them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is that what's going to happen this year? It's like AR, if he stays healthy, the Colts prove, whoa, you're talking about your quarterback. Hold my beer. Ours is better. And we're going to win the division.
The main reason I could see that happening, and I'm not saying it 100% will, is because the Colts have more of a veteran team.
Yep.
And for the Texans, they over exceeded last year. So they could be fat and happy running off of their playoffs the playoff run that they had last year. So that's kind of why I could see them maybe struggling out the gate, or maybe out of the gate. But yeah.
And one thing I will ask you, because I didn't ask you, is with the injury on the defensive line, do you think Liatu Latu is going to be able to step in and be super successful?
Yeah, I could see him being a potential defensive rookie of the year candidate. Yeah.
Ooh, you think? How confident are you with that, JD?
I'm fairly confident.
Like, give me a percentage, 100% being like the most confident, and you think he's guaranteed going to win it.
I'll say a 78%.
The reason why I say that is, do you know, betting wise, who the favorite is for that award?
Dallas Turner.
I'm glad that you knew that, because that's my guy, and that's who I think is going to win it. Mainly because I'm a homer.
I know, but I love Dallas Turner as well, though.
So here's the thing. When it comes to offensive rookie of the year, Vegas betting odds, Caleb Williams at 135. So you're still pretty much doubling your money. Second place is Marvin Harrison Jr. at plus 650. So they're pretty confident Caleb Williams is going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. When it comes to Defensive Rookie of the Year, ooh, okay. Okay. Vegas agrees with you, JD. Because
Really?
guess what? Because guess what?
What?
Dallas Turner and Latu both 430.
I didn't even know that.
They have the exact same odds on July 30th to win Rookie of the Year.
It's probably because of the injury, though, right?
Yeah, because now he's going to play. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jared Verse now is the second place guy at plus 1,000 to win. So Vegas thinks it's either going to be Dallas Turner or Laiatu Latu.
Yeah.
Here's what I would do if I'm a betting man, and what I'm probably going to do. You take a unit, whatever that is. Could be $5, $10, whatever your unit is. I'll use $10 as an example. You take one unit, $10. You throw 10 on Turner, 10 on Latu. Then what you do is you take maybe like $5 and you find the guy that is like the third that people are like, this guy could be like get the guy with all the hype. You put like $5, maybe even $2.50 on him. If Latu or Turner win, you're still getting like 20 some bucks.
Yeah.
And if the guy who's not them wins, you still net positive.
Yeah, that's smart.
That's how you do it. I would put $5 so you still net positive. But that's how I would do it. I'm probably going to put $10 on Latu and Turner tonight just to get one of those. As there's a fly in my room. I hate flies. But JD, let's move on. Last team in this division. We were just talking about them. The Houston Texans. What did they lose? They've got Kadar Holloman. He is with the Ravens. Tyre Tart is with the Dolphins now. You've got Trevier Thomas is with the Buccaneers. You have Josh Jones is with the Ravens. Michael Dieter is with the Commanders. Denzel Perryman is with the Chargers. You have Cameron Johnston, who is with the Steelers. George Fant is with the Seahawks. Devin Singletary, he's now with the Giants. Blake Cashman is with the Vikings. Sheldon Rankins is with the Bengals. And Jonathan Greenard is with the Vikings. What did they bring in via free agency? They brought in a lot. They're going to bring in Jacob Phillips. They're going to bring in Cam Akers. They're bringing in Chris Reed. They're bringing in Mario Edwards. They're bringing in Miles Bryant, Lonnie Johnson, Derek Bennett, CJ Henderson, Deshaun Phillips, Michael Ford, Jeff Okuda, Foley Fatukasi. They're bringing in Tim Seattle, Tommy Townsend, Danico Autry, Aziz Assar, and Daniil Hunter. Now, the thing is, Autry, I will say, news is coming out that Autry will be suspended 6 games. This came out yesterday, 6 games for violating the NFL's PED policy. So they won't have him for the first 6 games. But JD, the question is this. This is the team that is now, you're no longer the underdog. You're the team everyone's punching up to be. You won the division last year. From what I hear, everyone's saying CJ Stroud, he's going to be him. He's going to be a top 5 quarterback sooner rather than later. There's a part of me that goes, whoa, pump the brakes. CJ Stroud is good. It was 1 year. Let's see them do it again before, like I'm just going to say the Dennis Green line. You know what I'm going with here? You feel like what I'm going to go with? If you want to crown their asses, crown their asses. That's basically what we're doing here. If you want to crown them right now, crown them right now. But I want to see one more year. I want you to be SpongeBob. I want to see you do it. Want to see me do it again? Yes, I do want to see you do it again before I put that crown on your head. They bring in some other guys via trade, JD. That's the big thing. Joe Mixon, top 5 running back in Madden this year. He's going to be their leading bell cow running back in front of Dameon Pierce. Wide receiver. They had Nico Collins. They have Tank Dell. They're bringing in Stephon Diggs, 3-headed wide receiver core out there in Houston. JD, this team was very good last year. They added some pieces, especially via the trade. Is this team ready to do it again? Are you believing in the hype when it comes to the Houston Texans? Are they going to be just as good, if not better, as they were last year?
Yeah, I think I am. Maybe not to the extent of as some people, but yeah, I think that at the very worst they'll be as good as they were last year. They've made improvements pretty much everywhere on their team. They've added running back depth with Joe Mixon, Damian Pierce. They're hoping going into year 3 he has a massive bounce back season, like he was in his rookie season. CJ Stroud, again, you hope he makes another jump. He was fantastic last year as a rookie. And then, yeah, you add Stephon Diggs, who, I mean, you could say he's a diva.
He is. He fits the wide receiver diva.
Yeah, but he's good.
Also, when the Texans lose in the playoffs, will we get a picture of him watching the other team celebrate with the camera behind him? Because, I love those pictures because we really care about that. How about like anyone else? You just shut up and get back to work.
Yeah, and instead of
I really hate those pictures.
Yeah, especially when there's more than one. It just shows that you're a loser. So,
or that you're okay with being, you're like flaunting that you're a loser.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, good pickup. Nico Collins, he's fine. You hope Tank Dell recovered from that injury he suffered last year, and he can continue where he left off as a rookie. Dalton Schultz, I really like him at tight end. And then, you have John Mechie, who should, I know he was battling cancer, but hopefully he stays healthy and he can play some snaps this year. And then, but your offensive line now is kind of what concerns me because last year they got hit by injuries. And you have Laramie Tunsil, who's great when he plays, but always injured. Kenyon Green is going into year 2, and I loved him coming out of Texas A&M. But last year he was injured and struggled as a rookie. And then Shaq Mason was a good pickup last year for them. And again, solid guard. And then Titus Howard is also somebody who's always hurt. So they got to remain healthy on the offensive line, because if not, then it won't matter how long your guys are open for, because they're not going to get the ball. On defense, though, I just want to say quickly, I mean,
go ahead.
I would say their weakness was their secondary, but I do, obviously Derek Stingley looked really good. They have CJ Henderson as depth, which is good. And then Kamari Lassiter, he was getting first round hype coming into this this past season in college, but I mean, he's still a second round pick, so realistically, how good is he gonna do? But he should still be decent for them.
Yeah.
So I like that they added depth there, and I think overall their defense is gonna be I would say above league average.
So my biggest concern has nothing to do with the personnel on this team. You know me, JD, the thing I've been bringing up with all these previews, and I continue to bring it up, is strength of schedule. I think the schedule that you have, these are the games you have to play. Texans have the 7th hardest schedule this year.
Yeah.
Welcome to the first place schedule is what I like to say to Houston fans. Last year, you didn't have a first place schedule. This year, you do. Here's the big thing, JD. We know what divisions they'll play. All the South teams are playing the same divisions when it comes to the common games. The three that are just your own. These are the 3 that I know it's just 3 games, but these 3 games could stand between a 7-win season and a 10-win season, an 8-win season and an 11-win season, a 6-win season and a 9-win season. Here's what they got. You tell me how confident you are in them winning 2, if not 3 of these games. Week 11, Monday Night Football at Dallas.
Yeah.
Week 16 at Arrowhead. Week 17, Wednesday Night Football, home against the Ravens. I wouldn't be surprised, I should say, if they go 1-2 in those three.
That's what I was thinking.
Dallas is the only one I think they can beat, and I wouldn't be surprised if they went 0-3 in these games.
But to be fair, though, I think they match up against the Ravens pretty well.
Yeah, look at last year. I know they added pieces, Mixon's in, Diggs is in, but I'm sorry. Like, it's one of those things, I'm not going to put you in the echelon. Like, I'm not going to put them with the Chiefs. I'm not going to put them with the Ravens until they prove they can do it. Right now for me in the AFC, there are 3 teams that I think will be in the Super Bowl. One of these 3 teams, it's either going to be the Chiefs, it's either going to be the Ravens, or it's either going to be the Bengals. That's it. Those are the 3. Pick one of them. It's going to be one of those 3 teams. I'm not putting the Texans in that echelon until they prove that they can beat those teams. And with the Ravens, they went into the Ravens last year in the playoffs, and after playing very well against the Browns, they did not play well against the Ravens. The Ravens came in and proved who they were and said, "Hey kid, great." Like, this was them to CJ Stroud. "Hey kid, I know you had a great season, but this is where it ends."
Yeah.
This is where the buck stops. And like, even in the regular season last year, they didn't play any of these teams. And the teams that they did play, like, so they played the Ravens week 1. They lost 25-9. The only other teams they played in that echelon, the Bengals, but Bengals at week 10 didn't have Joe Burrow, I believe. No. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So like, they had Joe Burrow, but like, he was dealing with the injury, and they barely beat you guys by 3 points. Other than that, they played the Jets, but that was without Aaron Rodgers. Those are the only playoff caliber, like the top echelon teams they played. Where this year, they're going to get the Chiefs, who are arguably the best team in the league. Yeah. They're going to get the Ravens, who are arguably the second best team in the league. Not even just the AFC, the league. Oh, and then you're going to get the Cowboys, who are arguably one of the best teams, if not the best, in the NFC. Because I feel like the NFC rankings, you could put a couple teams at number 1 and be valid. Where in the AFC, it's the Chiefs.
Yeah, no, 100%. You nailed it. So again, it'll be a big task. And like I said at the beginning, when talking about them, are they going to be fat and happy from last year? Yeah. Where they let their egos get ahead of them and think that it's going to be, okay, well, last year we were a bunch of rookies and no expectations, and look how good we did. Now we have expectations. We're just going to automatically be a 14 win team.
And I will say this, JD, you said this, I think, when we were talking about the Bengals, and it's true here for the Texans. They got to hit the ground running. Yeah. Because when I look at the beginning of their schedule at Indianapolis, that's going to be a big, tough game. Big, tough divisional game right away. But then it's like, okay, the Bears, beatable team. Better team than last year, beatable team. Vikings at Minnesota, beatable team. Jacksonville, division plays tough, but beatable team. Buffalo, there's your, Buffalo, okay, we'll see what Buffalo brings. But then the Patriots, winnable. Packers, maybe a loss in Lambeau. Like, you got to win the games that you like. The NFC North, those are going to be tough games, maybe except the Viking game. NFC or AFC East, 2 tough, 2 non. Yeah. Or 3 tough, depending on Aaron Rodgers and if he's healthy. But like, the end of their season, their bye week is week 14. Their last 4 games, home against Miami, at KC, home against the Ravens, and then at Tennessee. Wouldn't be surprised they were 1-3 in their last 4.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised either. That's a brittle end.
And like, with playing Buffalo, is Stephon Diggs gonna step up? Because it's like, oh man, I'm playing my old team. You know what matchup I would really love to see in the playoffs?
What?
Texans Bengals. I would love to see, like, in Cincy, Joe Mixon back in Cincy.
That would hurt my heart.
I know you, JD. All week you'd be saying we gotta beat Joe Mixon, F Joe Mixon.
Man.
I hate.
No. I love Joe Mixon. I still have his jersey.
Yeah, but he's on the other team now, so you'd be talking crap about him all week.
No, I definitely.
We're gonna get to that game in the playoffs, and then JD's gonna be like, "I hate when you're right."
We'll see. We'll circle back to that. I don't think it will.
And then the game happens, and you'll be like, "Oh man, I love Joe Mixon." After you guys win.
Yeah, if we lose, and the only time I'll do that is if
you lose.
If he scores a game-winning touchdown, then that might be it.
You guys will win, and then go play the Chiefs because the Chiefs will beat the Ravens in their divisional game.
100%.
Because that'll happen. But that's going to do it for our AFC South predictions. We got what now? 3 to go. We got the NFC South and then the West, and then we're done. And then we look at our predictions, and it's on for the year, actual football being played. Now, I will say, because this is probably the first conference preview that I have to say this with, we are obviously recording these a lot earlier than when it is coming out. So if any news changes, that's one. But also, JD, this is going to be after the Hall of Fame game. Teams are going to be playing preseason games. And it's like, oh, man, you didn't see how they played in preseason. We're recording this ahead of time because of some vacations that JD and I have, so that we can have these out in time for you guys. Make sure to let us know what you guys think down below in that comment section. Hit that subscribe button, that like button. Join the Discord if you're not in it already. That's in the description. Support us on Patreon if you want to help support the YouTube channel and get rewarded for doing so. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all of our socials in the description as well. Want to thank you for a great show, JD. Want to thank you guys out there for watching and listening. And as always, have a good day, everybody.
See ya.
As always, we'd like to thank the people that make these videos possible, our patrons whose names are displayed on the screen now. If you would like to become a patron, go ahead and click the Patreon icon in the bottom right. And if you'd like to check out another video from MVP Sports, hit the video in the upper left. As always, thanks for watching.